Today's episode of the Ross Cloud podcast is sponsored in part by GospelStationCharts.com, where you can view gospel radio station song charts and track the promotion of your song, such as view how many stations are playing your song and how often, including what day and time your song played. Check it out now. Visit GospelStationCharts.com.
Hello and welcome to the Ross Cloud podcast. I'm your host, Chris Ross, and this platform was created to motivate and to inspire in hopes that you will become a better you. I'd like to give a shout out to everybody that's listening all over the world. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Ross Cloud podcast. Hey, listen, we have a very, very special guest with us. We have two special guests with us on today. They're no stranger to the Ross Cloud podcast. We have Miss Candi Jeter, Candi T Jeter. And we have Mr. Alfred Shaw, Mr. Al Shaw. What's happening, bro?
Ain't much.
Candi, how you be?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, I can't complain. Y'all doing all right today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there. Had a rough ass start, I tell you. All right. But we're going to have a great conversation tonight, folks. Listen,
I have a feeling we are.
I think we are, too. Listen, we have Candi who's here. Candi's an author. She has published 2 books or 3, Candi?
2.
2, okay. And so here's one of the books right here. We're going to kind of get into her books on today. It's 7 Steps to Letting Go Even When It Seems Possible. If you haven't got your copy, please go out and get it. Letting Go, a guide for successful women in midlife ready to release what's holding them back. And then the second one, we have 25 Thoughts About Your Destiny, Candi Taylor Jeter. Reconstruct Your World by Reconstructing Your Mind. These are the 2 great books right here. Where can they purchase these books from, Candi?
They can go to thelettinggobook.com and they can find those books there.
Okay, gotcha. I absolutely love it. Now, I know one of these books right here specifically is just for women, correct? Would you say that? Or
for everybody. I mean, a lot of people do, but women are the only ones who actually listen. So I've geared it for marketing purposes towards women.
All right.
Right. Because women are the ones who just scream the loudest, but men have read it and they kind of DM and talk about it.
Really? So it's good for men and women. Okay, then.
Yeah, it's not just women, but you know how people market stuff to children.
Yeah.
I
got you.
But adults like your PS3s and stuff like that. But adults play them.
I got you.
It's just whoever screams the loudest. You market your stuff to it, but anybody can use it because everybody needs to learn how to let go.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that, and I like that little shade you threw at the brothers. Say we don't like to listen.
Well, I mean, they don't ask for a lot. Let's say that.
All right.
They don't ask for a lot.
Okay.
So you don't really know what they want because they don't really say a whole lot. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Women are the ones who are speaking louder about what it is that they want, don't want, things like that.
I got you. So right here, I'm looking at something right here. Expand your present reality. Consciousness is a sense of awareness, but awareness of what? And you want me to read on this right here? Can you build a little bit?
Whatever hits
right
you.
There? Yeah. Build on that right there. This title right here, and then we'll just open the conversation right there. Expanding your present reality, if you would.
I mean, what is this?
Okay, it says consciousness is a sense of awareness, but awareness of what? The realization of any object, idea, or condition. All of this includes thoughts, emotions, sensations, and knowledge that make up the different phases of the mind, which can expand into subconsciousness, superconsciousness, and super subconsciousness. It's a lot of tongue twisters in there, girl.
So basically what that's saying is, you know how when people say get a life, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Get a life basically just means that you need to add more into your life so that you can see that things are bigger than the perspective that you have. Okay. So when you're expanding your consciousness, you're basically willing to be curious about a situation and look at it from a different perspective. So if you're having a hard time letting go of something, or if you're having a hard time understanding something, if you're having a hard time accepting something, usually it is because you are resisting expansion of consciousness, right? Because you are attached to something. And because attachments hold us hostage and they keep us stuck. Because we have attached a circumstance, a situation, an experience to something. And we stay stuck there because we either want somebody to rescue us, give us an explanation, or make it right. And so expanding your consciousness and your subconscious, which is even on a deeper level, is about moving from your head to your heart. Because a lot of times we're conscious about things because we've opened our mind up to it, but our heart is closed to it. So we know it, but we have not made it a part of us. Right? Gotcha. So that's where the subconscious and super subconscious comes in, where you actually, it's like breathing. You know, so if something happens to you and you're trying to go with the flow of life and not resist it, then it just becomes a way of life for you rather than something that you're trying to break your neck trying to do, you know?
I got you.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Jump on in there.
Yeah.
I know your wheels are turning. You wanna kind of build off of what she just said a little bit? She said it. She kind of said that pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with it's just a different perspective, interesting, and truth. Like, just I can't be as articulate, but
you're doing a good job.
It was a lot of information.
Yeah,
like, just in that block, but just how what you said about an individual just being able to open their mind and expand their attachment. Because when you think about attachments, like your memories, attachments, I mean, we're talking as early as 4 years old.
Right,
different things, different memories, different hurts. And I've never looked at it, like being attached to it. And it actually holding me back and not really giving me an opportunity to grow. Yeah. To expand. I've never viewed it like that. So I'm just sitting over here kind of playing through that, that perspective. And that's beautiful. And there's some to know that this attachment, which I reflect on, is not bringing me peace. It's not bringing me joy. Why am I continuing to hold on to it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There may be something on the other side. So,
because it's familiar.
Yeah.
It's familiar. We hang on to things that we know because we are afraid to move into unknown territory. If I let this go, what am I going to hold on to? What am I going to grasp on to? But when you think about expanding consciousness, if you think about the life of Christ or the life of Krishna or the life of Muhammad or the life of Buddha, when you think of the life of different teachers, they had to expand and go beyond what they knew in order to experiment to say what works and what doesn't work. So many times we don't even know what works for us because we're too afraid to experiment, because when you experiment with spirituality, with God, with consciousness, you end up in territory where people tell you not to go. You know, don't mess with this. Don't go here. Don't do this. Don't think that. Don't say this. Don't. And then you end up in this little tiny box. But yet you may be in a major life situation that's forcing you to go deeper and expand, right? Mm-hmm. And when you don't, you feel like now you have to have a drink, you have to go have sex, you have to take drugs, when really it's just your consciousness trying to get you to expand. So that's why people do those things. That's what addiction comes out of. Addiction comes from being stuck in a box and trying to figure out how to get out of this box and have this experience without doing something that's going to pull them away from what they are familiar with. If I take this drug, I can relieve my pain. If I get this drink, I can relieve this itch. If I go and over here and have sex with this person because I don't really want to be with this person, then I don't have to face that. I can go over here for a minute and get this temporary relief. So you're not really expanding your consciousness. You're basically cheating on spirituality, you know, and then you get stuck in a loop. Mm-hmm. So you're not really letting go, right? Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing about letting go. Yeah. Letting go doesn't mean I don't like this anymore, so I'm leaving. Letting go actually means I'm expanding my consciousness so that every experience that I have in my life is enriching me and it's causing me to graduate. It's causing me to move forward. Now, if we grow, what often happens is we have issues in our relationships. We already have issues in our relationships, even if we stay where we are. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But when you grow and you feel yourself outgrowing your partner, a lot of times people don't want to outgrow their partner. So a lot of times they just stay stuck in this rut that they're in. And then 5 years goes by, 10 years goes by, 12 years goes by. And you like, what the hell are we doing? Nobody's growing. Right?
Can I ask a question? So what does that look like, outgrowing your partner?
Great question.
I think that we all change, but yet, like, I know that for me, being in the land of the free, we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, we did. Mm-hmm.
I change rapidly. But when I'm in a relationship, when I feel a change coming on, I often will check in with my partner and we have conversations, see what they're thinking, where they are. If you are in a long-term relationship and you're not having those conversations, these changes happen without us even talking about them. And then you look up and you find that there are gaps in the relationship. Sure. Because someone has awakened to a particular part of themselves that was lying dormant when you met 10 years ago.
Sure.
Right? Mm-hmm. And if you're not constantly checking in with each other, you could be moving and they could be thinking you're the same and not even really notice the change. And you might look up and say, you know what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We need to really reevaluate this. Mm-hmm. But you don't really feel that when you're by yourself. You don't have anybody to bounce that off of.
I got you. Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think relationships are good to be in, because it actually gives you a measuring stick of where you are, if you're willing to use it as a measuring stick. You know, it's a mirror.
Yeah.
You know, because since I've been divorced, I've been like, pew, pew, pew. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Just, I can go anywhere with this thing that I want without anyone questioning me and saying, hey, what are you doing?
So whether you
like you weren't meditating yesterday, why are you meditating today? What does that mean? Like if I want to experiment with that and I want to meditate for 40 minutes, I ain't got nobody saying, "Hey, what you doing in there?"
Yeah.
I'm meditating. Oh, you meditating? You getting brand new?
I see
You
what
know
you're saying. So basically, what you're saying is whether you're married or single, growth is going to happen regardless. The only thing is you have to learn how to coexist with someone in the midst of them growing and you growing, changing, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whatever it is, we change as we get older.
Yeah,
Women
they
go
have to,
through
and they
stuff.
have to allow you to do that.
Okay.
What if you decided, okay, I'm going to become vegan? This is a good example. Y'all been eating meat all your lives, or all your entire relationship. All the kids eat meat, but you went to the doctor, and the doctor said that, you have high cholesterol, and you need to stop eating meat. Nobody else wants to do that. So you decide, well, I'm going to go on this journey on my own. And you can either get support or you can get a lot of pushback. Well, somebody love you. I don't think they're going
to. Right, they ain't going to push back.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to say, Chris, you need to go ahead and eat this meat. You know what I'm saying?
Not unless they just don't like you. Okay, that's it.
Right. But some people do struggle with that because there are other people in the household, other people around them that are eating meat and you're not.
Yeah.
That's a form of growth, where you've just evolved. And then after a while, you just decide, okay, well, I don't eat meat. You may inspire them or not. This is the same way with expanding consciousness, in my opinion, where you wake up and you say something needs to change in my life.
Yeah.
And when you say whatever that is, that could either rock the boat of the relationship or it could bring you all closer together. And some people are afraid to expand in relationships because they don't want to outgrow their partner.
That's good.
They don't want to outgrow. So subconsciously, they hold themselves back in a lot of cases.
Yeah, you got to be a pretty, so you got to be mature. You got to be secure too. To allow that. What I think about is when me and Al, I remember, I'm gonna just use this as an example, and I'm not on here saying like we these perfect individuals when it comes to dieting. That's not what I'm saying when I say this, bro.
Did you say to diet?
To dieting.
Oh,
yeah. Dieting and watching what we eat. But to your example, to use this as an example to what you're saying. So me and Al recently we went somewhere. And I don't know what we was getting, bro, but I think maybe I got, I might have got something sweet or whatever. I got something. Al, on the other hand, used discipline and said, I want it, bro, but I'm not going to do it. Now, if I was immature, and I said, oh, man, come on, man, go on and get it. But I didn't do that.
Yeah.
What I said was, I feel you, bro. That's where you at. So in other words, he's expanding. That's my brother. I'm just using a brother example, but this is where we have to be with our spouses too. Okay, babe. Hey, I feel you.
Exactly.
I feel you, but I'm finna go ahead and grab this donut.
Right.
I'm gonna let you do your thing, bro. I love you. I love the expansion. I ain't there yet. So I think, I just wanted to use that as an example.
That's a good example.
But I know it can be probably a little bit more severe than that, where it can cause friction within relationships and within marriage. I just use that as you was talking, that's the first example came up. Like Al is now making some changes, and I still probably am not making those changes along with him.
Are you making those changes for real, Al?
Yeah, I'm attempting every day to make those changes.
Good.
That's real.
And you know what?
That's facts.
About 3 weeks ago, I made up in my mind. I said, no matter what, I'm not going to quit. And I did say, I'm actually going to fight.
So what are you trying to do exactly?
So went to the doctor.
That'll do it.
So there's some things, as I'm getting older, that I need to get in place. One of them was, so I snore. So I needed to take the sleep test. I did that. Then, they recommended the equipment.
Yeah.
So I got a call 2 days ago. So just kind of checking some of the things off the box
Right.
to get to the root, you know, of what's kind of, you know, knocking some things out the way. And
Okay.
I need to lose weight because I look better.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And you feel better.
You
Feel
know what I'm
better.
saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I move better, and my joints better,
Mm-hmm.
my feet better.
Everything is better.
Yeah,
I
my
got you.
clothes fit better.
Yeah. That's facts.
So you have lost.
Ton of.
You know what? I don't I don't use the scale. I just go by my clothes.
But you feel it.
Okay, that's a great way.
Now I'm only about 3 weeks in.
That's fine.
That's
You
cool,
can
though.
really tell a
But,
difference in a
you
couple
Feel
of
it, though.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell though.
It's, you know, right now it's more mental than
That's right.
anything in my body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like I'm trying to get my diet to where I'm figuring out what's making me bloated. Because that's and I'm pretty sure it's dairy.
Yeah.
You know, I trace back to like we catered an event today, and I didn't get a plate. I didn't eat till like 3, but you know I had to taste the food, so I'm tasting the green beans, got the mac and cheese, went back to the mac and cheese,
I got you.
and then went back one more time.
Yeah.
With that dairy, it
Yeah.
wasn't sitting right. So
Right.
Yeah.
you know, just figuring things like that out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
You know, I've been accustomed to eating. So
Right.
That pasta
and
and,
that's
that
tough.
bread.
I know,
man,
it's
that
so
bread
delicious.
and that it is delicious.
Yes.
And bread, that's probably one of my
Yeah.
toughest
Dairy
things
is the
to
hardest for me.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
we
Cheese
have.
pizza.
Cheese.
Pizza, man.
Cheese,
oh, man.
pizza, cheese. I can probably let go of everything, but I like cheese and ice cream.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are my favorites. You know, I think of
Is it
everything.
really?
Yeah, I'm all right without meat. I can do vegetables.
Okay.
I can even let go of white potatoes. But when it comes to that cheese
Man.
and that ice cream,
Man.
Cheese and fried foods for me.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man.
That fried okra.
Fried okra.
Lord have mercy.
Lord, man, don't talk about it.
now see, when we're talking about food, and I always use food as an example
Yeah.
of expanding consciousness, only because that's how we bond is through food, right? This is how we connect with loved ones when we get together. What y'all gonna bring? What we gonna eat? You know, those things. And as soon as you make a lifestyle change and you say, I don't eat mac and cheese no more.
I got you. Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? Like, I don't eat mac and cheese anymore. I don't eat cheese anymore. Then people start, you got to go through that growth phase
Yeah.
of letting go. This is all a part of letting go of the tradition, letting go of that feeling of, okay, come on, you can taste it. Just taste a little bit.
Yeah.
Just get you a little bit. A little bit ain't gonna hurt you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of pressure sometimes when you're first starting out. And so that's a part of letting go, right? What if that's the only way that you connect with your parents and your parents, and you got a little rift in your family? Your parents invite you over, and you say, I don't even eat macaroni and cheese no more.
I got you. Mm-hmm.
That can bring up so much that you're expanding your conscious has been expanded to. I don't really need cheese anymore because it's not good for me.
Mm-hmm.
That cheese could be religion. That cheese can be a job. That cheese can be a decision that you need to make in regards to whether you need to stay married or divorced. That cheese can be a relationship with your children. It could be anything. We always have to go through this phase of letting go of something because life is full of exchanges. Do I want my health, or do I want that macaroni and cheese?
Wow.
Do I want a relationship with my children, or do I want to deal with their mama? Or not, whatever it is connected to. Everything is attached to something that you want and that you don't want. And so you always have to be in a state where you're able to make the best decisions for yourself.
I like that.
right?
Like
and that is what letting go is all about. Being in a state where you're always able, not that you do, but you're always able to make the best decisions for yourself, and you're able to withstand the pushback that you might get, the changes that you might have to go through, and the sacrifices that you have to make in order to get where you want. We don't follow through on things because we're not willing to make those trade-offs. And you just have to get, like Al said it, it's more of a mindset right now than anything, you know. And that's with everything.
Yeah.
And so that I was inspired to write that book because it is part of a 9-step program that I do called Shifting from Force to Power. And a lot of times we're forcing life. Right now you in the forcing phase where you're like, I got to do this because the doctor said if I don't do this, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. What you're on a journey towards your power, though, and you're discovering the power along the way with every step. And every time you say, I'm not going to have that mac and cheese, and you really make it through, you get another layer of power or another discovery of power to where eventually it becomes like breathing.
Hello there, I'm Shantha Caldwell, and this is your sticky note. Practice the pause. Pause before judging. Pause before assuming. Pause before accusing. Pause whenever you're about to react harshly, and you'll avoid doing and saying things you'll later regret. I'm Shantha Caldwell. This is your sticky note. Stick it up.
Love that. Which I think is a great segue to shift a little bit to kind of talk about what we see happening within the atmosphere in our society today as it pertains to black entrepreneurship, black artists, contracts, no contracts, and also independency. At what point do we let it go when it comes to careers and expansion as it pertains to that? Based off of what we see happening with
coming out of corporate and going into entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. Or coming out of going independent and making independent films and not being under a major studio like Universal or Warner Brothers and funding it yourself and then finding a way to get it funded. You know what I'm saying? So far as that type of expansion from that standpoint of letting it go, at what point do we let it go as it pertains to these corporations? They have all of the money, and we're dealing with the small budget. Most of the time we're funding it ourselves, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an artist. And I mean from the perspective of, I'm going to come from the black perspective, if you would, with what we have to go through in order to get to that next level, whatever that next level is for us. How does that equate with letting go and everything that we talked about just now, just to kind of shift a little bit? And I'll let either one of y'all kind of expound on that. I know you wrote the book, Candi, so if you want to go first, ladies first.
I don't have to, because it's
Okay.
It's the same.
Okay, then.
I think that's about the same.
It's about the same. Okay.
Being able to let go of what you familiar with, your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like that.
You want to expound on that a little bit, Al?
No, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. So I guess we kind of like right in the middle with that one then. No segue on that, is it? Because it kind of sums it up.
I mean, how do you
This is a
feel about
mindset.
it?
I feel the same way. I really feel like we probably need to start doing that. Is it tough? Is it hard? Yes. It's probably going to be very hard because the corporations have all of the money. And so when it comes to changing the mindset of saying, I'm going to be independent, I'm going to run with this torch, it's going to be difficult because I have to fund this out of my pocket. I really can't afford to do this or that because you got to pay for cameras. You got to pay for, and I'm talking about right now, I'm just talking about from that standpoint of it, whatever that thing is. Even when it comes to restaurant business is extremely expensive.
Right.
Entertainment business,
it's grueling too. Restaurant business is grueling.
It's a grind. It's really a grind. You really have to have a passion for it. I think that's with anything that you do. You have to have a great deal of passion to do it, and you can get tunnel vision. I mean, tunnel vision with it sometimes, and just like, I'm going straight forward. I don't care what's in front of me. You know what I'm saying? So even with letting go, do you think that would affect the psyche a little bit? And how do you balance that? Like, how do you keep that together without it destroying the mental capacity, the mindset, basically? Even though you have a mindset to be strong and make it work, it can break you down if it lets you. So how do you bring about a balance with that?
I don't
as
know.
It pertains to letting go.
When,
I mean, so tough. Maybe I'm not.
You mean like when running a business, like
period? Like with anything, Al. Like, you know, I'm hell bent on getting this done. I don't care what's in my way. I believe that this is for me. I'm going to do it, and you're letting go of the. And maybe I'm coming from an artist perspective then.
No, you're letting go of the familiar way that you're normally used to doing things. You got to be open and flexible.
Correct.
And willing to try things and look crazy sometimes when you have an idea and people say, you know, that ain't going to work, or what are you talking about, or where you going to get the money to do this or that. So you do have to go to a place where you have an expanded consciousness enough to know that you can't be in a box and make something work. You have to literally be out of your mind.
Okay. So
as an entrepreneur, there are things that don't always make sense.
No, you can go into some dark places, basically,
is
what I'm saying. So what I'm asking is, how do we bring about a balance with that? How can we bring about a balance with that? And you know, we're saying we're letting go. There are certain things that we can't let go of because we actually may need it. So how do we find ourselves to bring balance? So maybe I'm not saying it right. Maybe I am, but
when you're letting go, like I said, you're more expanding. You're building on what you have. You're not really throwing away anything. You're not leaving anything. You're building on what it is that you already have and what you already know.
Gotcha.
And I think that when we are working for other people, you know, I got to go back to when this whole thing where people try to have more than one wife, you know, this polygamy thing. You haven't even mastered monogamy. Nobody's mastered monogamy yet that I've seen. I was just talking to Al. Can't nobody be married to one person and it be right. So what makes you think that you can marry 3 and 4 people, right? So when it comes to entrepreneurship, if you're not a good employee, and if you haven't mastered rising to the top of your game within a framework where everything is provided for you, being an entrepreneur is a lot more difficult. And people think that it's easy, right?
Right.
I ain't gonna work for nobody. I'm gonna do my own thing. You are never doing your own thing. You're gonna always do what the customer demands if you want to make some money. And you gotta listen to what people want and still put yourself into it and figure out that area for yourself. But you're still serving the people.
True.
You work for the people. When you work for a corporation, you work for one person. That's your boss. It's easy to be like, you know, what you want? Oh, I want this on my desk by 5. Okay, you got it. That's really all you got to do. That's it. When you're working for yourself, you got 50 things that need to be done, and you got to do all of them. So being able to build relationships and being able to connect with people on a very deep level so that they actually do what you want them to do is a skill that I think is number one in entrepreneurship. And a lot of people don't realize that. People say they want to have their own business because they don't like people. If you don't like people and you think you're going to have your own business, you're not going to be a very prosperous person.
Right.
Because the people, they're the money.
Yeah, they are. Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think that you just have to know what you're getting into, just like you have to know what you're getting into when you're in any relationship. You're in one relationship, in a marriage, you're in many relationships when you're married to the people, when you're an entrepreneur. And we always have to look at the skills that we have in order to make a marriage work. You have to have those same skills in order to make all relationships work. Loyalty, honesty, faithfulness, consistency, communication, transparency, interaction, engagement. That's for all relationships. And I think that once we realize that that's imperative in all relationships, we can get somewhere.
Yeah.
We keep trying to take shortcuts.
There's no shortcuts.
There are no shortcuts.
No, it's not.
I'm going to go over here because I don't like doing that.
No.
Well, you're going to have to do that over here.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. You can't get away from it.
Yeah.
So I think that, for a long time, we thought, I can't wait to get grown so I can do what I want to do. And then you can't even eat no damn macaroni and cheese. You know what I'm saying? Who thought? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, boy.
You can't even have no macaroni and cheese.
That's right.
We
That's right.
thought when we got grown, we were going to be able to do whatever. You never can do whatever you want to do. You never can do what. Never. I told my daughter, I said, you say you want a mobile grooming thing. You might want to come home and whatever you're paying for rent, give it to me. We'll put it aside. And in 18 months, you'll have enough to buy your mobile grooming unit. Yeah, but then when I come home, you're going to be telling me when to take out the trash. You're going to be telling me when to do this. I said, but you got to take your trash down to the street.
You got to take
anyway in your own place.
Just a small sacrifice.
So why are you constricting your consciousness and not willing to make a sacrifice?
Yeah.
Open up.
Yeah.
Make the sacrifice. See, you think you being open when you have your own place and you paying your own bills and you can smoke or you can drink or you can have sex. You can do whatever you want to do in there.
Right.
But while you doing that, your dream is passing you by.
That's true.
You really expanding your consciousness where you take all of your funds and you put them here for 18 months, get what you want to get, do what you want to do. This is entrepreneurship. This is what entrepreneurship is about. Yeah. Otherwise, if you're not willing to do that, then you might as well keep on going over here and giving this person 50% of your income and get somewhere and sit down because that's where your level of consciousness is. So, I mean, you can't get away from it.
No, you can't. But I do know a way that you can eat some macaroni and cheese now. There's a way you can eat macaroni and cheese.
With the lactose free?
No, you can use, my wife does it all the time. She makes cauliflower noodles.
No, not the same thing. Sorry. I just would rather just not.
You still eat cauliflower mac and cheese?
Cauliflower mac and cheese.
I've tasted it. It's not the same.
Is the cheese.
Tell me that. Yeah,
because she still uses the cheese.
Yeah, they still.
Yeah, you're still using the cheese.
Yeah, my wife, she makes the cauliflower mac and cheese, and it's banging.
But you got the cheese in there. Okay.
All right. Well,
we're talking about not having the cheese. There is no way around it. I've tried it.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
I've tried it.
Okay, then I missed that. Then I'm thinking vegetarian. The only thing I'm thinking about is them white noodles.
Well, the noodles help too, because. I know that I do. I have a soy noodle that works really well. That's delicious.
Okay.
And I have
I tried the chickpea. I like the chickpea noodles too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The chickpea noodles are good too. Oh,
Yeah.
they everything.
Yeah, the soy noodles are good. Beef knot is good, where they have these beef granules, these soy granules that take the place of ground beef.
Okay.
It's delicious. I make my
really?
spaghetti with it and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I got a substitute for everything, but now when I tell you I've tried the cheese, cashew cheese, it's okay.
Oh,
you can get with that.
Okay.
Nutritional yeast, all of those kinds of things. You can make it. You can kind of make it happen, but ain't nothing like that cheese, man.
So are you vegan?
I'm not vegan. It's just that I have hyperfamilial cholesterolemia, which is just high cholesterol for no reason. It's a gene
Really?
in my family. Me and my sister have it. We got tested for it. We have the gene, and we qualify for like research and all this kind of stuff.
Okay, I got you.
So my cholesterol is like 375. Right? For no reason.
For no reason, Candi.
It's just up there. And so
There's nothing you can do about either exercise, like
Well,
if you exercise, work out.
for your listeners, because there probably are some people that have it and they don't know.
Okay.
You would have to exercise like the Tasmanian devil in order to get it down. Like, I got a piece of hair. You got to exercise crazy. Like if you wanted to be a marathon runner or something like that, that might lower it a little bit, but it still might be like 225.
Wow.
You know, cholesterol is a hormone, and it operates like a hormone in that it fluctuates in levels based on what's going on in your body and what you're eating and what you're doing. It's a part of the endocrine system. And so if your body needs to produce a lot of cholesterol to protect itself, it will do that, right?
That's good and bad.
Good and bad, because the bad cholesterol actually comes in and acts like a Band-Aid on your arteries, because like when you eat a lot of sugar,
Oh yeah.
or you eat things that are highly oxidizing, right? It creates it kind of eats away at your arteries, and it makes them porous.
Yeah.
So then your blood gets stuck to them, and then it creates these little tears. And so the LDL cholesterol comes in and plugs it up so that you don't bleed out through your arteries, right? So then the cholesterol builds up. Well, if you just lower the cholesterol and you don't really change your eating habits and you don't look at cholesterol in its totality, and you say, I need to lower my LDL cholesterol, please, and you take this medicine to lower your LDL cholesterol, then you are actually taking away the Band-Aid that's plugging up this tearing of the arteries. So a lot of times people still have heart attacks and strokes and issues because the underlying issue is not the cholesterol, it's what's causing the cholesterol to come to the scene of the issue. And so most of the time it's going to be your sugars and your fats and things like that.
Right.
And so if for whatever reason you have this particular thing and diet doesn't really have anything to do with it, then you have to look at all of these medicines and things that they're giving you is kind of messing up other stuff. So it's not so easy to treat. So now they're trying to figure out how to treat it. But cholesterol is not a bad thing. It's not bad for you.
Right. I know it's good and bad cholesterol.
Yeah,
We need,
but none of it is
both.
bad. It's a marketing thing. And you just have to look at other things around the cholesterol to see, because there are people in other countries who have 400 level cholesterol. But their blood is not sticky. Certain things you eat and do makes your blood has a sticky factor to it, such as clotting and things like that, right? If you're eating correctly, not perfectly, but if you're eating correctly for you, and your blood is flowing and you don't have tears in your arteries that's screaming out for that LDL cholesterol to come and stick to that area.
Yeah.
You can have high cholesterol and still have perfect blood flow. Right. So you still it comes back down to that discipline.
Yeah.
You know.
That expansion of your mind.
But you don't want to get
go.
on medication, and that's what I tell people. You don't want to get on medication unless you have already adjusted your diet as much as you possibly can, because that medication is not designed for
that probably makes it worse.
healing.
Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, so far as
it throws everything out of balance.
Right.
Because cholesterol is a hormone. You don't want to do anything to mess with your hormones. You know.
Yeah, I was looking at something here recently, and it was on, I think it was on PBS. And I heard a doctor was talking on there about salt. And she was saying the misconception is that you don't need iodine, but you need a certain level of iodine in your body. She said too much salt is bad, but there is a certain level of iodine that the body needs to operate properly, to your point. And when she was making that point, because I was looking at it, I was like, man, I'm finna cut everything, salt out. But when I saw that, and then, of course, with my own doctor, she was like, well, no, Mr. Ross, you need a certain level of iodine in your body. But there is certain salts that you need that can help make that better. So salt is bad. I want to say that. Too much salt is bad, but the body does need a certain level of iodine in it to operate properly.
Yeah.
You still need a certain level of it.
Right.
So I'm not saying that. Let me go ahead and say that.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know it all or anything like that. I don't have no medical degree. But what I am saying is the doctor was saying we do need a certain level of iodine in our body, because that iodine.
Your thyroid, I think, operates off of iodine.
I'm not sure. But, I'm not sure. But, yeah. But I do know you can do sea salt. You can do that pink salt. What's the name of that salt?
Himalayan salt.
Himalayan salt.
Gray salt is good for you.
Is good for you. Yeah.
But I think we go to the doctor and we try to ask the doctor to fix just one thing.
Yeah.
And I know, like, for women, when we get older and start going through perimenopause, menopause, and our hormones are thrown out of balance, we become at a greater risk for heart disease, so they say, due to the fact that cholesterol increases because it is a hormone.
Right.
But if you get your hormones in balance, it can lower the cholesterol 12%.
Oh, wow.
So that's something that even you all could look at, because y'all's testosterone goes down as you get older.
That's true.
Right? And so when you're looking at your numbers, you might want to just make sure that you're looking at the whole picture rather than just, that one number. Because if I just focused on my cholesterol, I got a whole bunch of other stuff that needs to be addressed. Other than just the cholesterol. Why is the cholesterol going crazy? It went up 100 points after I started entering into that phase of my life. The doctors never once addressed that. I had to research that on my own and then try to attack it from another direction. So that's another thing that is good to tell people, is you have to research your own stuff sometimes and come up with a couple of perspectives and throw them out to your doctor. I'm not telling people not to go to your doctor.
Right.
But
not at all.
Do some reading, figure out. I do the blood type diet, which is good. I'm A positive, and the list of foods that blood type A can eat actually has been working in regards to inflammation. So those are things that you can experiment with. You just experiment with them. Everybody is looking for an answer, but nobody, again, wants to experiment. Yeah, experiment with it. See what it does. See if there's any validity to it, if you see any difference with your aching joints. Because
turmeric can help with that.
Yeah, turmeric helps with that.
Beets, the beet powder. I take that. So I
there's some things you can do. It helps. But I tell you, I was just talking to Tanya about that over the phone. I said, "Are your joints aching?" I'm like walking around and I'm kind of like tiptoeing around. I'm like, I found myself having to do yoga this morning before I went to work. I was like, okay, I'm in here stretching, just on the regular, you know. And
it's good to stretch, though.
It is good. It is good. But I mean, I didn't have to until recently. You know, now I got to.
Yes, you get up and it's snap, pop, crackle, and pop, buddy. Them joint
feet
pop.
For me.
Your feet,
Yes.
Ooh, I'm telling you.
And so, of course, when I told her, she was like, "You need to say, no old lady's going to come in my body, and this is not going to happen," and which is true. You know, we got to do some self-talk. We got to do some positive talk, right?
Yeah, we do.
But, you know, I had to hear that for a little while. And so I said, okay, in the meantime, I still got to stretch. In the meantime,
gotta do some work behind
I still might
right.
have to take me a little ibuprofen here and there. But all of that goes back to what am I willing to do in order to take responsibility for it and make it a little bit better.
I love that.
Because we're in the prime of our life. We got the wisdom. And we still able to move around. So we got things to do before we just shrivel up. We can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we got to do it.
Got to do it. So, you know, this has been a great conversation about letting go and a great perspective from everybody up here. And this entire panel of individuals up here. And this has just been great, letting go. So, you know, make sure you go out and get your copy right here, as you can see right here. This wonderful book here, 7 Steps to Letting Go Even When It Seems Possible by Candi T Jeter. Letting Go, a guide for successful women, I'm going to say, and men in midlife, ready to release what's holding them back. So go get your copy.
That's that midlife in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
midlife.
We got that midlife. And also make sure you pick up a copy of 25 Thoughts About Your Destiny. Reconstruct Your World by Reconstructing Your Mind by Candi T Jeter. Make sure you pick up a copy. Candi, thank you so much for taking out a little bit of your time and spending it with us here on the Ross Cloud Podcast.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. We got a chance finally.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, to really talk about, you know, just a little portion of your book. And we have been meaning to do it, and we're going to have you back again to go even deeper, and we'll talk even more about this book. Also, if you would you take the time to tell the folks how they can follow you?
Oh, just you can reach me at I am Candi T Jeter. I am Candi, Candi Jeter, or you can simply just go to thelettinggobook.com and you can get my contact information there.
All right. We absolutely appreciate it. And Al Shaw, I thank you so much, bro, for coming on. And
Yeah, man.
And giving your insight, your perspective, man, as we went on. You was a little light tonight, but I think everything had been said, bro. Which is awesome. If you would, Al, can you tell the
learning?
It was, right. Yeah, it was a nice moment of learning and listening.
Candi, you're brilliant.
Yeah, you are, man.
No, like, seriously.
Yeah, you really are.
So, like, I was watching you tonight, and and just like, even like the way you explained with your arteries. Like, Dave, it's been mentioned when I go to the doctor for years. But never made plain like that.
Yeah.
That's
it
pretty
makes
plain.
So much sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, but for you to be able to bounce around from that, then, we're talking about expanding your mind. We've known each other for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A long time.
Long time.
A really long time.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But, as far as connecting and having an opportunity to interact and, gain respect for where you are mentally, that's beautiful too.
Yeah.
And to be able to see that movement tonight, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Awesome.
Today's episode of the Ross Cloud Podcast is sponsored in part by GospelStationCharts.com, where you can view gospel radio station song charts and track the promotion of your song, such as view how many stations are playing your song and how often, including what day and time your song played. Check it out now. Visit GospelStationCharts.com.